Her name was Anyi, though no one in that house ever spoke it with warmth. She was brought into the Zhao family when she was only 3 years old, wrapped in a thin blanket, silent, wide-eyed, and already familiar with hunger. The Zhou family was powerful, respected, and wealthy, and from the outside, people often said she was lucky to be adopted by such a family. But luck had never entered An Yi's life. The moment she stepped into that house, invisible lines were drawn. She was not blood. She was not truly theirs. And everyone knew it, especially the two boys who would later become the center of her suffering. Zhou Jun was the elder brother, calm, intelligent, admired by everyone. Zhao Wei was younger, sharper, louder, and far more cruel. As children, they tolerated An Yi's presence because their parents told them to. As teenagers, they ignored her. As adults, they began to resent her. In their eyes, she was an intruder who had stolen a place that never belonged to her. They believed she was adopted not out of kindness, but because their parents felt pity for a useless orphan. That belief shaped every word they spoke to her, every look they gave her, every decision they made about her life. And Yi grew up quietly. She learned very early that silence protected her. She studied harder than anyone, worked longer hours, and never asked for anything. She washed dishes while others slept, cleaned rooms that were never hers, and swallowed insults with a forced smile. Whenever relatives visited, she was introduced as the adopted one, as if that single word erased her humanity. Zhou Jun never defended her. Zhao Wei openly mocked her. And their parents, though not openly cruel, were emotionally distant, choosing peace over justice every time. Years passed, and An Yi became a young woman with gentle eyes and a tired soul. She worked part-time jobs to support herself, while still living in the Zhao house. She dreamed of leaving one day, but dreams were expensive, and she had nothing except endurance. The brothers, now successful businessmen, returned home less often, but whenever they did, the house felt colder. Zhao Wei especially enjoyed reminding her of her place. He would say things like, "Don't forget, you're only here because of charity," or "You should be grateful we didn't leave you on the streets." What they never knew was that An Yi remembered everything, every insult. Every night she cried silently into her pillow. Every moment she wished she had never been adopted. But she also remembered something else, a memory from when she was very young, a night of fire screams, and a woman pushing her into the arms of a stranger, whispering a name she would forget for years. That memory haunted her, though she never understood it fully. The turning point came when the Zhao family faced a financial crisis. A bad investment, internal betrayal, and sudden pressure from powerful competitors pushed the family business to the edge of collapse. Zhou Jun and Zhou Wei worked day and night, but nothing helped. Investors pulled out, friends disappeared, and in the middle of this chaos, someone suggested a solution that would change An Yi's life forever. They said the family could survive if they formed a strategic marriage alliance. And An Yi, the adopted girl with no status and no value in the family, was the perfect sacrifice she was told not ask. That she would marry a middle-aged businessman with a terrible reputation, a man known for his cruelty and greed. In exchange, the Zhao family would receive financial support. Zhao Wei laughed when the idea was mentioned. Zhou Jun stayed silent. Their parents avoided her eyes. And Yi stood there listening, feeling something inside her finally break. Not pain, not anger, but clarity. She realized that no matter how much she endured, she would never belong. She was not family, she was currency. That night, she packed a small bag and left the house without saying goodbye. No one stopped her. No one called after her. The next morning, Zhao Wei said coldly, "Good riddance." Zhou Jun said nothing. What they didn't know was that An Yi didn't run away blindly. She went looking for answers. Using the faint memory from her childhood, she traced records, visited old neighborhoods, and asked questions no one had asked before. Weeks turned into months. She lived poorly, worked multiple jobs, slept in shared rooms, but she never stopped searching. And one day, in a small city far from the Zhou family's world, she found the truth. An Yi was not an orphan. She was the only daughter of a powerful family that had been destroyed years ago in a mysterious fire. Her biological parents had died protecting her. The stranger who took her away that night had been a loyal servant, but he was injured and desperate. And in fear of being hunted, he left her at an orphanage under a false name. That orphanage later arranged her adoption by the Zhao family. The truth hit her like a storm. Her blood was not weak. Her past was not meaningless. It had been stolen. The family she belonged to had once controlled industries larger than the Zhou family ever dreamed of. And some of that power still existed, hidden, waiting. And Yi met people who recognized her eyes, her face, her name. Slowly, carefully, she stepped into a world she never knew was hers. She learned about business, strategy, and leadership. She discovered strengths she never knew she had. The quiet adopted girl disappeared. In her place stood a woman with purpose. Years passed again. The Zhao family, meanwhile, continued to decline. Their business survived, but barely. Zhao Wei became more aggressive, more desperate. Zhou Jun grew tired, burdened by responsibility and regret he never admitted. And then one day, the business world was shaken by the rise of a new powerful company, led by a mysterious woman. She was intelligent, ruthless when necessary and untouchable. Her name was Ye. When the Zhao brothers finally met her again, they didn't recognize her at first. She stood confidently, dressed in elegance, her eyes calm but distant. Zhao Wei spoke arrogantly, unaware of who she was, until someone introduced her properly. Silence fell like a blade. Zhao Jun's face went pale. Zhao Wei laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. And Yi did not seek revenge with screams or cruelty. She did something far more painful. She ignored them. She treated them as strangers, as insignificant people unworthy of emotion. When Zhou Wei tried to remind her of the past, she simply said, "I don't remember you." Those words hurt more than any insult. Zhou Jun tried to apologize, but she stopped him gently and said, "You had years to be my brother. You chose silence. In the end, and you didn't destroy the Zhao family. She didn't need to. She had already won. She had reclaimed her identity, her dignity, and her future." The adopted girl they believed was weak had risen beyond them. And as the Zhao brothers walk away, they finally understood the truth too late. Blood does not define worth. And ignoring someone's pain does not erase it. It only waits, grows, and one day returns as strength.